Vital, now in a brand new pack.
Now, with August being Women's Month, we're taking a look at a different aspects of women's health. And today we're focusing on bladder infection, which actually represents the second leading cause of infections in women. And our health expert, Andrea Duplessis, is here to give us some tips on how to prevent this kind of infection happening to you out there. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Now, how common is it, bladder infection?
It is quite common. And, you know, with women specifically, often with hormonal fluctuations, it predisposes women to bladder infections. And it's obviously something that interferes with your quality of life.
Yes.
Because with a mild infection, the symptoms are quite mild. I mean, a burning sensation when you need to urinate.
Yeah.
But if the infection spreads, it can become quite serious, where it can spread to your kidneys and causing severe fever, low back pain, nausea, and obviously it's not good for your health.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to look at the treatment options, and that's where food plays a role, because they've done research on cranberries.
Cranberries, okay.
And showing how cranberries themselves, or the juice, or dried cranberries, and even in an extract in a supplement, can help in the prevention of bladder infections.
Now, what is it in the cranberries that does that helps relieve or kind of block or stop the infection?
Yes. It's very important to note that normally with bladder infections, it's always good to speak to your doctor first. And if the infection is sort of out of control, antibiotics are definitely needed to kill the bacteria that cause the infection. Okay. However, if you catch it quite early in the early stages, cranberry can play a role there, and they've researched how does cranberry actually work. Yeah. Because they've seen that cranberry is not an antibiotic, so it can't kill the bacteria.
Okay.
So how it works is cranberries contain potent antioxidants that form a protective film on the inside of your bladder, preventing the bacteria that's in your urine from penetrating the bladder and urinary tract tissues. Okay. And then the bacteria is flushed out with the urine. So that's how cranberries can help.
So in that way, is it rather kind of a temporary preventative measure than it is a cure, like you said?
Yes. The evidence with research that they've done definitely shows that it helps in the prevention of bladder infections. Now, some people never get a bladder infection. Some people get it every single month. Yeah. So for people that suffer with chronic bladder infections, it's good to drink cranberry juice or eat fresh cranberries if they can get it, or dried cranberries, or even take a cranberry supplement. Okay,
so if you can't have cranberries every day, what other options are there out there for you?
Look, cranberries specifically is the one food that they've been able to identify as something that can help in the prevention of bladder infections through the mechanism I described. So I don't know about any other foods that specifically will play such a big role. Yeah. If you look at managing bladder health, and specifically with bladder infections, drinking lots of water is really important. So that is a given. And then obviously, cranberry can help as a natural remedy to assist in the prevention and management of bladder infections.
Now, I'm actually glad you mentioned the water thing, because I heard once that drinking too much water can actually also be bad.
That's right. Too much of a good thing is always bad for us. So it's unlikely, I mean, I don't often come across people that drink too much water. And depending on your activity levels, you should try and drink about 2 liters of water per day. If you're very active and if you tend to perspire a lot, you can drink more. But I would say more than 5 liters is a bit of an overkill. And it's unusual. I mean, so it's not something
try doing that.
Yes.
No, don't try doing that, actually. So you'd say, obviously, just keeping a nice balance of good water intake, having your cranberries, and those actually would be nice to have with your cereal in the morning, right?
Definitely, and every little bit counts. I mean, they've done research to show if you have the beginning stage of a bladder infection, how much cranberry do you need to really address the problem? And that's where the supplements are really important, because they're formulated at a high strength, typically a dose of 10,000 milligrams of equivalents of cranberries in a 1 capsule or 2 capsule format. So that will give you the therapeutic dose. But if you're prone to bladder infections, you don't have an infection, it will benefit you by drinking cranberry juice or eating the dried or fresh cranberries, because the antioxidants will continue to play that protective role in your bladder.
So with that antioxidant power, adding this to that mixture we usually make with the rooibos tea, we make iced tea with cranberry juice, and maybe adding cranberries and other nice berries to it as well.
Definitely. I can't think of anything better.
Man, you know, I need to like start building a factory or something and producing this stuff. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so doing that will kind of assure you that you have a healthy bladder. And this is also obviously applicable to men as well. We're not just talking...
Definitely, yes. If you look at other people that are at risk of developing bladder infections, it's quite common in diabetics and also people that live with a catheter. So obviously that can introduce bacteria that can cause problems. And I'd like to finish off to say that whenever you're in doubt, always chat to your doctor first.
Yes.
Because if an infection is out of control, you probably need antibiotics. But if you have chronic bladder problems, then cranberries can play a very good supportive role.
Oh, right. So as you just said now, when in doubt, ask your doctor. When in Facebook doubt, go on to Andrea du Plessis Vital Expert and ask your question there. Here's to your health.
Vital, now in a brand new pack.